just stop after the training, and then it will open a page here. Utadownload your video. Joy, abaka ya simu yako silent. Na ninapiga kelele. Uko sawa? Umeweka silent. Sawa. Hello and a very good morning to everyone. Welcome to our weekly webinars, which we do every Wednesday. I know we had taken a small hiatus for the last 2 weeks, but we are bigger, better, and back. So karibuni sana, and very glad to see all of you. And I know we have a new audience this morning, so welcome so much. And this is how we do every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to midday, or midday and a quarter thereabout. But we are very happy to have you this morning, and we have a very exciting topic prepared for you around customer care skills, and also how to enhance customer loyalty. Because I believe all of us in organizations are our biggest objective is to meet our customers, meet their needs, and also at the same time see how we're able to retain these customers. And I know Kevin has prepared a bit of statistics where he's going to tell us how much it even takes to retain a client. So you can imagine, if you think about getting a new client and retaining one, I think retaining will be much cheaper either way. So karibuni sana.
My name is Purity Wanjero. My name is Purity Wajiro, and I'm happy to take you through to be your host. I come from a company called Accurex. Accurex is a HR training and consulting firm. We do a lot of trainings around leadership, management, customer service, like today. We also do for supervisory and a whole array of training. So it would be nice to talk about training or more about our company and what we do and how we are able to plug in into your organizations. And also you plug in into your organization at the very tail end of our webinar this morning. So about our facilitator this morning, we have Kevin Omolo, a very experienced with over 15 years of experience running from community development,
Sustainability, organizational leadership.
This morning,
This
he's the
morning,
best
he's the
fit
best
to
fit
help us
to help us
break
break
down
down
this
this
topic
topic
around
around
customer
customer
service
service
and
and
customer
customer
care.
care.
And I know
And I know
today
today
it's
it's
also being
also
called
being called
customer
customer
experience, which I really like because it means are the experience from the
experience from the
moment a
moment.
customer thinks about you as a service provider. What do they experience until they buy the product for you from you and even after? So he brings in a blend of expertise ranging from customer engagement, stakeholder communication, training design, and he has a lot of interest, which he will also give us more insight into his life and his profession. So Kevin is very passionate about systems and empowering frontline professionals, especially those in the customer service. So this is Kevin for you, and Kevin, feel very well welcomed to Team Accurex. We're very happy to have you this morning, and I'm very excited just to see how you're going to take us through this topic. Our audience is coming in slowly but surely. So the way
So
we
the way we
structure
structure our
so the
webinar,
first
so the
about
first
50
about
minutes,
50 minutes,
45, 50
45,
minutes
50
thereabout
minutes
is the
thereabout is the
presentation.
presentation.
Then thereafter
Then
we'll have
thereafter
a
we'll
Q&A
have a
session
Q&A
that we're
session
able to
that we
talk
are able to
about
talk about
any questions
any
that
questions
might come
that
up
might
from
come up
this
from
topic.
this topic,
And
already at the general
at the
topic.
very
At
tail
the
end,
very tail
also we
end,
have a
also we
feedback
have a
form if you
feedback
are
form if you
interested
are
in
interested
getting
in
a
getting
certificate
a
of
certificate of
participation, or even
participation, or
you want
even you want
to
to
get the
get the
attendance.
attendance,
Not the attendance.
not the
This
attendance, this
presentation that
presentation that
Kevin is going to
Kevin is
give us.
going to give us.
If you
If
fill the
you
feedback
fill the
form,
feedback
you're
form,
able to
then you are
download
able to download
this
this
presentation at the
presentation
very
at the very
end.
tail end.
So that is
So
it
that
from
is
me.
it from me.
Kevin,
Kevin,
over to you.
over to you.
Thank you very much, Purity. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, as Purity has rightfully mentioned, I have more than 15 years experience in the field of consulting for organizations and organization development. I work with startups, I work with established organizations just to establish systems for them because my key aim and my passion is to see sustainability and also to see that startups are thriving beyond their three-year lifetime that they are usually given. So my sessions are usually very interactive. So if I call on your name as we continue on in the session, si ati nimekuona ukifanya kitu mbaya, is just to also engage my audience and also to find also insights, because through those insights I feel we can both learn, because it's also a learning curve for us as well. There's always new information to share and new information to give. Okay, so I'll move straight into the presentation. So our content for this particular facility, for this particular training, will be, first of all, we'll look at the objective as regards to what today matters customer care. We look at the significance. They framed it to why customer care matters.
Let me
Look
send
at
you
the
the correct
significance
one.
of that.
Let me send.
We will also move into skills in customer care. These are the various skills that you can use towards approaching your customers or even giving the service to your customers to ensure that they remain loyal to your brand. And then there are various parameters. These ones we will not look too much in depth into them, but if we have time, we can also discuss if we have time. But now I'll just mention them in brief in terms of parameters to measure successes. And every organization, I usually prefer that they tailor make their own, because sometimes you find we're in different fields. And then we'll have a brief Q&A session based on whatever we've discussed in the past or something that we haven't even been able to tackle within those topics that are covered there. In case anybody has any queries, don't feel free to mention. So now I move straight forward to the objectives. The first one will be, we want to explain the link between quality service and long-term customer loyalty. So we want that by the end of the training, you can be able to see, if I give quality service, this is how it relates to me having a customer for the long term. That is me retaining my customer base. If I have one of customers, maybe this will be something to look at and see whether there are any areas that maybe we are missing out when it comes to the skills. We'll also move on to aspects of identifying the core skills that are needed, as mentioned earlier. And this will be just the main that you can start with. I would like to say that this list is not exhaustive, so also always feel free to share some more based on experiences. One key objective after this will be to encourage a customer-centric mindset. And that is, we're always told that the customer is key. But in this day and age, we find that there are certain areas that this lacks. So we want to have that, we want to move back to that mentality of being customer-centric. Secondly, we want to equip all participants with practical tools. That's why I was saying this has to be a very interactive session. Nobody has a monopoly of knowledge. And for that, there's something you might have experience in your line of work, in your area of duties that maybe some of us are not privy to. So when I call upon times for sharing, please feel free to take part. And then finally, we hope that you will be able to measure and improve your customer care skills. By measuring is being able to monitor on a day-to-day basis. Where am I at? If I have created a certain standard, how many customers am I able to retain? And based on that, you can go back and say, okay, what did I do better? What can I do better? Or what did I do best if you did something to your best? Okay, so I would like to open the discussion to the floor. I hope everybody can see this. To this quote about Martin, and he says, customer service is not a department, it's an attitude. I would like to ask maybe one of the participants. Can I start with Amos, if you're there? Amos, what would you ideally understand from this quote? that customer service is not a department, it's an attitude. Or anybody who can be able to talk on, because Amos is still on mute. Can I? Anybody? Yes, Barbara, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I think most of our companies, we have someone who's in charge of customer service. So maybe people feel like that is the person who's supposed to be in charge of customer service. But in an organization, everyone is in charge of customer service. So everyone needs to have that attitude of taking care of the customer. So yeah, it's an attitude and it's like a culture within the company. It's just not a department.
Thank you very much. So it's thank you very much for that, Barbara. Anybody else wants to add on to what Barbara said? Yes? Yes, Cynthia. I see your hand is up.
Good morning, all. Customer service, as you just said, it's more of an attitude in that it's not a systematic way of conducting issue. Every customer is unique in their own way. The way you deal with one person is not exactly how you deal with another person. There's no systematic way someone will tell you behave in this way, behave in this way, behave in this way. There's someone you'll speak to in Sheng, there's someone you'll speak to in English. I don't know if I'm making a point. Thank you.
That's very true. And I'll give you a case in point. I was once taken to Iceland to do a presentation, and I tried to use the Queen's English. Didn't go very well. Rhoda, I see your hand is up. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I think it's basically how you bring yourself and how you talk to each and everybody that you meet in the organization. So it's like being a face of the company by how you bring yourself through your first word that you speak to them and also how you treat them.
Okay. So we all, I'm gathering. Oh, Steve has also put in the chat. He's put in a response. It's an attitude because you sell experience. Clients buy experience, not really the product. We all seem to have an understanding of that. However, I don't know whether in practice we find ourselves being in that frame of mind that it's my attitude that determines how I serve the customer. It's not about me referring them to a department. But I like your feedback. We all have the understanding that, yes, it has to be a frame of mind that we are bringing in. It has to be who is, as Cynthia has mentioned, it has to be tailor-made to the person who's coming. It's not a standard that you say it's a textbook. If somebody comes, start with question 1. What's your name? No. Because it has to feel tailor-made. You have to create a rapport with the customer, if I may use the word. Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. So now, that helps us to move straight forward to the significance of customer care. Why customer care matters. And one of the key aspects of customer care, as you all have mentioned, customer experiences drive purchase decision. And I think that's one of the key items that sometimes we fail to register. Sometimes we forget that I buy a product because of the person and the experience I'm having with the person who's selling it. I might want the product, but if your attitude is not positive, it's likely I will not buy the product. I don't know whether you've had instances where you find yourself buying something that you don't need. And case in point for me is when you're in a public transport, in a matatu or in a bus. There are those guys who enter, and the first word they utter out is, "Mimi hata sijakuja kuuzia chochote." I don't know whether anybody has ever had such an experience. And by the end of that guy presenting whatever he's presenting, he'll always get somebody to buy something. And I remember a situation where a guy will come and will say, najua nyinyi hamna minyoo kwa tumbo. And then he just asks one question. Sasa leo unachemsha nyama kwa sufuria. Ukitaka kuhakikisha kwamba nyama imeiva, when you're boiling your meat, unakuanga ukikula, ukimeza, ama unakuanga ukionja, ukitema. And everybody was like, tunakuanga tukimeza. Akasema, hiyo inamaanisha basi nyinyi wote sasa mko na minyoo kwa tumbo. So it's about that attitude. Everybody was laughing. Everybody was now engaging him. Once he saw that laughter coming in, that's when he continued his presentation, and he had captured his audience. I will want to open it up and ask, has anyone ever had an experience where they felt like, I bought something and I don't know how I got to buy it? Anybody? Has anybody ever had such an experience where I bought something that I don't need, but I'm still glad that I bought it? Unasema tu hata nimekupromote tu, ndio umekuja hapo ukaiuza vizuri. Anyone? None of us? It's only me? Yes, Steve. I see. Joyce, I see you also there. So if I sample Washington, so I'm gathering from the hands up and the responses that at least in our case, we're well aware that sometimes it's about that experience. Yes, I see also Chris. Is it Crispin? Yes, I see. So thank you for the responses. At least I know I'm not losing you. I'm not the only one who's buying things I don't need in my house. So that is one of the key things. And sometimes we forget that aspect. Secondly, there's the aspect of acquiring new customers is far more expensive than retaining existing ones. By that I mean, it's easy to sell somebody a product that they're well conversant with. If people are well conversant with your product or your service, it's an easy sell. Case in point, if you know a certain musician, and I don't know, Victor Njagi, a favorite musician, local, preferably Kenyan. Let me call them Kenyan because they're now international. Who ideally is your favorite musician? You can use that example.
For example, I can say Nyashinsky.
Nyashinsky.
Yes.
So if Nyashinsky were to perform, and you have the means, the money, and Nyashinsky has a concert coming out, and he charges like 5,000 or 10,000 for the ticket, and he say this is live, this is the experience, like he did. Will you be willing to attend that concert?
Yes, I'll be willing.
Yes, you will be willing. And if I were to perform the same concert, and I charge
Don't
you,
even continue, no.
you haven't had this. So you're very willing. For you, Victor, you're willing to, because you've experienced Nyashinsky before. So for him, you are his loyal customer. For me, you're not sure about even whether I can belt out a tune. From my voice, you can already tell it will be a struggle. So rightfully so. I will even if I tell you come for free, it's likely you will not even come for my performance. So that is the thing. So we forget those small aspects, but those are the big aspects that when it comes to customers in itself, that aspect of they have to. Am I still sharing my screen?
No. Just share your screen.
Let me reshare my screen. Sorry about that. Okay. Apologies for that. In my excitement of performing, I must have I must have clicked. Let me hide that. Yes, I must have clicked the stop sharing button. Yeah. So that is very simply put. The more familiar customers are with our product, it's easy for us to retain them and even get a following from them. And as Victor has put it, he's willing to spend even more for a product he's more familiar with than from me. Even when I offer to perform for free, he wouldn't be willing to come there. So those can register or foster continuous growth. So that means even as you grow your brand and you grow your prices, your customers might be also willing to continue spending, depending on whatever quality of the product that they're offering out there. Finally, the significance of customer service or customer care will be, we want to build lasting relationship. And this lasting relationship will contribute to the sustainability of the business. Sometimes we think it's about the sale and we go. Yes, a sale is good. A sale will enable you to make your targets. And we are all, in one way or another, in the business of sales, because we're either offering a service or we are either offering a product. That said, the sustainability aspect of that should be the thing that is core in what is driving our sales. We should not just think about selling and leaving. These days, I see aspects of the other day, it was my birthday, and I've taken a life policy, and the insurance company couldn't call me on the Sunday because for one reason or another, I suspect they don't work on the Sunday. But on Monday morning, the first phone call I got was from a nice lady, and she was like, "Hi, Kevin, how are you? Are you healthy?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm very healthy." Like, yes. We like the fact that you are. We're happy that you're celebrating another year, and we are happy about the partnership you have with us. This is for a life policy, and I'm just 1 year into the policy. So hata ile madeni nilikuwa nayo nilifanya after that discussion, I found myself now paying for those areas that I had outstanding for that. So in a sense, also at the core of us when we are offering our service, we should think in terms of how can I sustain this business? Can I follow up and ask, okay, the product we sold you, is it serving you well? Yes. Okay. What are the challenges you are facing? If you come and buy the next time, don't know I'm being logged out every other time. Okay. I'm still sharing my screen, I hope.
Yes, yes.
Yes, you are.
Very good. So those are the things that now we start thinking about. The product that you have, how can you make sure that it's beneficial to the person who's there, and how can you get the feedback from them? These days, hata kinyozi, siku hizi wakisha kunyoa, they take your number and they follow up and they say, okay, so we have an offer, this and that and that and the other. And sometimes they just send those messages of, if it's a certain Valentine's, they say, yeah, come, look correct for your date, something of that sort, just to keep it lively and show you that you are a valid customer to them. Okay. So I can move on to the next slide. Okay, so now I want to open this question up to the floor again. Ideally, what number of bad experiences does it take for a customer to switch to a different company? And I will do a quick toll and ask Teresa, for instance, what number of bad experiences do you have to have with either a product or a service provider for you to decide to move to another? If you can, Teresa, or anyone
Okay,
else?
I'd say maybe 2 times if I have a bad
2
experience.
times.
Yeah.
So you'll go once first, and then you'll go try again, like a second time. After the second time, you will move to now a different company or a different product. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Cynthia?
Basically, the
Yes.
first time I go, I'm treated badly. I'll still
Yes.
go the second time, but I'll mention that the last time I didn't like the experience that I had. And then I give them a chance to maybe treat me in a different way. If they don't, I think I'll do 2 trips, and then that would be it for me.
Okay. 2 trips for you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It also depends on the first instance on how I was treated. At some given point, even one visit can make you stop using a product, or one usage can make you stop using something, because the first impression matters a lot.
So impression matters. Okay. What I'm getting is that we will give somebody a chance, and we'll start once and then give them feedback and then try again. And then based on if they don't change, we are likely to abandon them. I saw, is it Crispin, your hand is still up? Crispin? Crispin, your hand is okay. Okay, I think it's okay. I think it's not that easy. He's trying to answer. Okay, so it's the same from the statistics that we have and from the tally that has been collected in the past. We're seeing it's the same that most people will 92% will switch to another company after 3 or fewer bad experiences. That is 1 or 2, which we are within the same statistics as proven by that quick poll that we have taken. On the same, 26% will switch after just 1 bad experience. That means 26% of the people who come in, that's almost a quarter. So if you're having 100 people, the 25 will switch after just the first bad experience. They won't give even a second chance. Yeah, yeah. When we come to the aspect of bad experiences, I also think it depends with the situation. Like if it's a hospital, for instance, how many bad experiences would you want to have if it's a botched surgery? Yes, Violet. Yeah, Violet.
Certificate.
Okay, maybe. Yes, Faith.
To me, repeated minor issues will lead me to do away with the company. Repeated minor issues.
Okay. And what if it's a case of the hospital? How many repeated minor issues will you have if it's an issue of a surgeon?
The first one.
And what about if you haven't even gone to the surgeon himself and you've just heard a story?
That one will be a problem because it's maybe it's about my own health, so I won't risk.
Okay, okay. So like I said, I've come to realize also sometimes the statistics it's situational. It's not in all cases that necessarily people will wait for even the first one or the second, and we'll come to that in terms of how that how that plays about in different professions. Okay. So I'm noticing something. Okay, right. So now I move on to the next question will be, do you think customer service will influence the amount of money many customers are willing to pay in your case, based on personal example? Oh, sorry. Before I move into that, let me just read some of the responses from Washington. For Washington, there are key things he looks at: poor customer service, lack of variety, lack of adaptability, competitors' innovation, and the convenience of a customer's product. For David, he had mentioned that if his complaint is not handled, he's done with the place. Doris, 2 instances alone. For Corazon, you are saying for surgery, you can't even risk. You have to get your referral that guy is at 99% of his A game, which is very true. Okay, so the next question was, do you think customer service influences the amount of money customers are willing to pay? Anybody? Now this I've opened it up. If I give you good service, the aspect of tipping, how many people are willing to tip if they get good service? You can even put a thumbs up or how many? It's immaculate. Cindy? Okay. You're willing to tip. How many actually tip when they get good service in Kenya? In Kenya, there's an aspect of hiyo ni kazi yake tu. Yes? How many actually tip? Hata soja akiitisha ile ya chai because amekusaidia upaka gari. Steve, I see you have tipped several times. Especially your baba. So that's one in the hotel industry, yeah? Okay. Okay. So that's because of this. Sometimes you get that aspect of outstanding customer service. I pay extra for good service. Okay. Okay. That is very good. So definitely we see those are aspects of customer service. Without them, even quote unquote selling us a product. Because for instance, if it's a security guard and you're parking your car and they help you, if it's angle parking or if it's reverse parking and they help you, they're helping because you've come to the institution. And when you give them a tip, that also makes you, the next time they reserve even a spot for you, you still give them a tip. And you find this mostly in clubs and hotels, that they even have reserved spots for certain individuals. So you find yourself repeatedly going there because you don't have to think about where to park and aspects of that nature. Okay. So allow me to just stop briefly sharing my screen and then I'm sharing again. Okay, so we're back at it again. Yeah. So those are aspects of things that you find in our day-to-day life, that these things are happening, and it's just that we don't think to them in terms of customer care. But those are great service aspects, and those same we can emulate. Personally, I know of a guard. It's a certain business park, and even he thinks every time you come there, he's always saluting you, and he's always asking how your days. Even after the search, he's hoping you have a splendid time there. In case of anything, come see me and give me feedback. As in, he's already doing what we will quote unquote say is for the customer care department to do. Okay. So I move on to the next. The best form of marketing. Which is the best form of marketing based on experience? And for this, we can say number one, statistics say that one is social media, 55% rely on the reviews from websites or social media. Any of us who rely on reviews from social media? Is there anyone? Grace? So for Grace, you will buy a product based on a review? Okay. So I see, Barbara. Is there any specific products, if I may, if Grace you can, is there any specific product that you bought based on that, on a review from social media, and you found that it was a critical one?
Not necessarily critical, but it's cosmetics. I recently have started using Gania just because of the social influence.
Yeah, because it keeps on popping on your, you see the YouTube on a regular.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I also see the advert for the dark charcoal. Winslet, you say social media? Okay, Winslet? Oh, for Barbara, restaurants and hotel mainly. For Winslet, what product would you or service would you mainly rely on social media? Okay. Has anybody ever relied on social media and then they got shocked? Like there are those videos you get of a product, and then when you get it is what was promised and what was delivered. Anybody with such what was promised, what was delivered? Cindy, hey, you are crying. Yes, Cindy. Can you share your experience with us kindly?
For me, I would say for clothes, I think shops these days are online, so you just trust in terms of reviews and how the picture is looking. But these days, in terms of clothes, you find they alter how what they picture and what they deliver is very different. So you find what you saw and what you got is very different. The dress you bought is very ugly. Or even in terms of wigs, they use the Chinese manufacturer, they use their pictures, they use a white woman looking very beautiful, and the wig that you get is makonge. So yeah, I have gotten such cases which have really been bad.
It's very interesting. But so you find that the percent, so they say 55%, which is a good percentage, rely on social media. But nowadays, as you put it very rightly, so sometimes what is delivered is a bit different. Yes, Cynthia? Cynthia, you had your hand up?
There's a time I ordered a tray through
Yes.
social media. When it came, it was actually a toy. I was very disappointed. It was the worst experience.
You did not give the dimensions. Eh?
Yeah, I didn't check the dimensions, I guess. So it's coming, it's such a small parcel. It was a toy. Too bad.
Oh, what a discount of it. You can't wait to see. Okay. That has happened with, there's a guy who bought a bicycle and it was actually a toy. And he thought it was the best deal of his life. Okay. Okay. Pole sana kwa hiyo. So those are just examples of situations that has happened, to be honest. Okay. From the data, they say 36% rely on advice from friends. I don't know how many people trust their friends to that extent when it comes to products. Yeah. By a show of hands, does any of us rely on referrals from friends? Okay. Okay, Faith. Faith, tell me your story. Which is it particular friends or all friends? Yes, Faith.
Particular friends after
Uh-huh.
confirming the product they've bought and
Okay.
how long they've been with the product.
Okay. Okay. But wait, before you know, switch on. Do you have that particular friend who you find is overly optimistic about each and every product? Ukimuuliza hii kama ni nzuri, anasema iko sawa kabisa. Do you have such an experience?
No, I don't have.
Or it's always spot on for the one who refers to.
I only specific as I just said, only specific products, and I only buy a product after confirming that the product he or he is using, it's good.
Yes. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Joyce echoes your sentiments very well. Steve says he does not rely on anyone. Stephen the proof is of the taste of the pudding is in the tasting. Unless they're paying it for you. Referrals work, especially when one has consumed the product or service. Okay, very good. So we see that it's based on the experiences. It's based on how they feel. It's based on what they went through with whatever they have. So still, um, we are now seeing those aspects of customer care that the person who you're selling to is not about the person you're selling to, but it's about who they know. How many other people does this person you're selling to, which is 36%. If it's 100, then I guess that's what, 36 people. So how many other people? No. My mathematics is off on that. But how many other people do these people know that can still buy your product? Okay. And then advertising, they're saying 8% rely on advertising. So advertising used to be the thing. It used to be billboards, it used to be news and all that. But there's what was advertised, and then there's the reality of things. And advertisement always make things look very flashy. I guess that's why the percentages have gone down. And I remember there's a product that for those who drink the whiskey or certain alcohol, it's always advised as is the most refreshing, very refreshing. But then if you are a teetotaler and you have a sip of that whiskey, you say hii kitu sielewi vile inaadvertisiwanga ni kama ni tamu, something of that sort. So advertisement always makes anything look very rosy. And that's why it's there. Alafu sasa wewe ukikuja kwa kuionja unajua okay, this can even put hair on your chest. So those are the things that are, but I'll move on swiftly to the next slide. Thank you very much for your participation. So in summary, we've seen that experience drives sales. 70% of buying experience depend on customer treatment. So sometimes it could be how the customer was treated that you refer people there. Unaambia, ukienda huko, wale watakushughulikia vizuri sana. And especially when it comes to the service industry, when you're dealing with people like a mechanic, most people will tell you, nani hawezi kukugonga? No, his prices are very fair. Endo kone nani, chukua namba ya huyu. So those experiences, which are very first hand, will drive a lot of sales. And it comes the same even in our organization. Sometimes the aspect of getting more business, it's not necessarily selling to the person who's there, but having them, letting them have a good experience or a feel around your premises. Okay. We found out that retention is cheaper, even we discuss, because acquisition of new customers could cost up to 5 to 25 times more than retention. So to save on certain costs, and we've seen from experiences given there, right now I have an idea. If I'm selling cosmetics, let it be on a referral basis based on experience of my first customer, because ataniletea wengine. So if I'm a makeup artist, let me make sure that I put proper makeup nisishtue watu when my client goes out there. So if nisiposhtua client wangu, more people will come because the client will refer them to me. And loyalty boosts spending. If customers are loyal, then they are 67% more likely to spend than new ones. That means, for me, it's an aspect of maintaining consistency in my service. So even in our workplace, it's something we need to think about. Are we being consistent in whatever services we're offering in the workplace? Because that will mean if I go to, if it's me or if it's, and I'm with Grace or Faith or even Steve in the same organization, and there's consistency in our service, then it makes sure that all our news spreads out easily. Not that, nikiendea Faith and treat vizuri, mimi sitaki kuendea Steve, and vice versa. So I move on to the next slide, and that is with regards to skills in customer care. So for this, now we want to look at what are those essential skills in customer care that contribute towards excellent service and also help to enhance that customer loyalty. And they could be social and interpersonal skills, and some of them could be just aspects of knowledge in terms of intellectual. You need to know product, but I'll go through them one by one, and then because of time, we can even interact after I've done the full presentation of the skills. So empathy. Empathy is one of those things that we always hear about, but is very, very hard to do, because it's putting yourselves in the shoes of your customer. Sometimes you have the stresses of organization, you have targets, you are being told sell to the extent that you don't even, you just want the customer to buy, whether it will help them or it will not, whether it's the product they need or they don't need. You're just trying to meet your targets, and then we forget about, okay, is this really a product that the customer wants? And sometimes it's unfortunate that in certain professions, even in medicine, you find that because of the aspects of trying to sell whatever service or whatever drug they have, sometimes there's a lot of misdiagnosis that can come, which can be detrimental to a patient and the like. But that's an extreme situation. But generally, it is good to have a key understanding of your customers, and you build and to build a connection with them, so that even if they have a negative experience, you can transform it to a positive. And this I put more to customers who come with a complaint. How can you turn that complaint into a sale? I know of a mobile telephony company, when you speak ill of them, their staff will even sell you another product. Kama ulikuwa kwa prepaid line, unajipata umeingia hata postpaid, na umelipa full amount, the highest that you can, na unajipata sasa wewe tena ndio unaendelea na services zao. As in, they turn whatever you tell them. And you could even meeting in an informal setting. And wanasema nyinyi mnatuibianga. Those guys will turn around and sell and even call somebody to say this is the product you need. Hii ndio maana unasikia unaibiwa. Chukua hii ndio inafaa na wewe. So the next one is about industry research and highlights it as critical. As in industry research highlights it as a critical tool. Sorry, as a critical tool to have or as critical skill to have. That is empathy. Show empathy through your tone, your language, and your personalized interactions. For now, I want to do a brief exercise. Let me see. Who can I call in? Just a brief exercise. Vinette, are you able to talk, Vinette? Just a brief exercise we can have.
Yes.
Yes. So Vinette, let's act like you are my customer. I'm the difficult client, and you are my customer care. And then I'm coming in to say that a product is bad. I would like to see the tone of voice you will use. If I tell you, okay, we can simulate just to have an example of how can you try and empathize with my situation? Yeah, we can do that. Hey, Vinette? Vinette, have I lost you? Okay, I think I've lost her. Anybody willing to do that simulation with me? Okay, Cindy. Okay. So you're customer care and I come with a product. So we can say the product I bought is socks. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, and you can use Kiswahili. I hope everybody is okay with Kiswahili and English because when you're hungry, kuna lugha tu inatokanga hivi. So I can start?
Yeah.
Okay. Nasema hizi socks zenyu ni mbaya Vinette. I mean Cindy, hizi socks zenyu ni mbaya sana. Mimi hata zinaninukisha mguu. Mimi sijai nuka mguu kutoka ninunue hizi socks zenyu, nimekuwa zikinukisha mguu. Sasa wewe pole inisaidii. Nilitumia pesa mingi. 500 kununua socks. Unajua mimi ni mtu nimeuza socks za 20 bob na ziko sawa kuliko hizi zenyu. Hata hii yenyu sijui mbona unauza 500? Vinette bona. No, Vinette.
Pole. Ulinunua hii socks lini? Saa ngapi? Like pole imenuka, haikuangi inanuka. We have been able to sell a lot of quantities. Now we haven't gotten any bad experiences, but pole. I think we can send you another package ya socks and you see how it is. And pia hiyo pesa tuta refund uone kama venye experience. But kama itaenda vizuri, you can come, we try and figure out shida ni gani. Unajua maybe ni hiyo cotton ina affect your skin, but you can try and find maybe issue ni nini. But akipole, we will send you another socks na we'll refund you. But if the problem ita persist, we'll check in maybe a week utueleze what the issue is. Kama imeendelea, you can come, we see how we can deal with it.
So let me give you a case and point. Is there anything we could have done to change it into a sale, that complaint, apart from a refund? Anybody? Yes, Steve. Start by being empathetic. Let the client know you understand, okay, how they feel and how much the product they have spent. So she did say she's sorry, and pole sana that socks your socks imenikisha mguu. Any other thing we could have done better to change that into another sale? Say it was cotton. She could have said maybe silk is better. So a different product it might be better. Aseme maybe cotton dengiani na mimi. I would say another brand, which is good. Okay. So you're seeing how even in customer care, apart from solving the problem and even giving a refund, when she said she's refunding me, I was okay. Hata nimeacha kuongea. She will have offered a different band, which she has, and sold it, which is true. Instead of just doing the refund, that's also another option we have. So, Derek anasema unatembea sana. Akimwambia ukweli. Okay. Okay. So those are the aspects of sales. And another aspect could be if you have a product that can help smell the feet, you can also take it and say, by the way, kama hiyo ni shida, tumenotice kuna client moja wawili kawa kuna hiyo shida, kuna hii product ingine itakusaidia sana na nukuu, hata usikuwa embarrassed. Maybe socks
I
will
have a question
expand.
for you, Kevin.
Yes, Violet.
In regards to the empathy you're being given,
Yes.
do you think it was enough for you to be in a position to buy in and even be given convinced enough with the empathy you're given, that is you'll be given another product, or will you continue use the product you had purchased and you're disappointed in regards to the empathy part?
For me, I took the part of the reimbursement. That's why I couldn't, and also because of time, we couldn't dwell into it too much. But I wanted to show an aspect of if somebody comes to you immediately, that's what customer care has to deal with. Any form of issue somebody has in their house, wanafaa deal now. So the first aspect of it is, yes, first and foremost, we understand the situation in terms of it's saying, okay, pole sana, imekunishia mguu. That can be very embarrassing. You can even trade stories of hey, mimi hata bwanangu same situation, imebidi tu hata tutafutange vile na namna. So the person can see maybe it's not even a socks issue, it's a me issue somehow. I don't know whether that makes sense. Does that make sense? Was it Violet that had raised? That makes sense? Okay. Yeah, okay. Crispin gives me a hands up. So those are the aspects we think about empathy in terms of that. But I can imagine for that scenario, sikuwa nimemtayarisha, it's out of the blues. And but usually sometimes you have to think about it. And usually when you are first hand with customers, because that's what sometimes I find myself with, that the customer is always complaining if a product does not work the way they expected. And sometimes it's not even the product is not working, it's the use of the product is not being used for what it's supposed to. Or the expectation was much higher than what the product can offer. Yeah. So sometimes you first of all listen them out, and then you now relate to this situation. I have seen it with so and so. You say this I cannot relate with, but I can imagine it was not good for you. Yeah. So you put it in form of a story first, and then calm them down, and then now you start negotiating around things, and then now you can even turn it to a positive. Yeah. So the experience comes in that even next time atarudi and buy. The challenge with sometimes offering a refund, it might tell them that your product is the one that's the issue. Okay, so I beg to move. I hope I have answered your question there. Okay, because of time. So for empathy, one of the key aspects is understand perspectives. See the situation through the customer's eyes. Try and relate better with what situation is facing. Number two, create connections. Build emotional bonds that can foster loyalty. And that's why I was saying sometimes you can even give a story of yeah. I can imagine how ilikuwa vile ilifanyika ilikuwa, so that you show okay, this is an aspect of it must not have been good, and you can imagine how the situation, and you are trying even to see yourself in that position, and then transform the experience, turn that negative into a positive outcome. And I like those suggestions that you're offering there. Offer a different product, offer a different brand. The refund and offering another pair of socks also can work with some individuals also, because they won't mind that. And then demonstrate thoughtfully the use of tone. If my tone is up, it's good for you, like she did. She was very calm, collected, very good. And even the language and personality. If it were in person, then it would have been even easier. It's just that I'm the only one who had the video on. So I'll move on to the next skill, which is active listening and communication. So I'll just move through the slides now because of time. Listen actively, pay full attention without interrupting, which is sometimes very difficult, but it's also very key. that at least you can say, okay, this is what I found out. This is what I'm hearing. These are the key points. This is what is the issue. The issue for that person will have been the embarrassment he faced. Not that they necessarily that the smell he fit. It's just that embarrassment he faced. So he's looking for a place to vent. Clarify your understanding. You can ask the question, is this socks peke yake ndo zinakunukisha mguu? Okay. Ni viatu labda zenye ulivaa na hizo socks. Okay. As it was rightly put, ulitembea sana. You know, you put it to those aspects of, will it be another aspect? And Derek could have been inquiring in terms of, because sometimes when umetembea sana, it's a hot day, and that could result to the same. And then respond thoughtfully. Address that concern with well-considered answer. Same as up there again. After everything, after seeking clarification, now you address it in terms of step by step. It's like you are presenting it on a fact basis, this solution. And then always use positive language. Frame solution constructively and optimistically. Nasema, hi, okay, so this could have been the situation in itself. However, what I know for sure is sometimes it's good enough also to have this product just in case we find that this thing is persisting. Acha nikupatie hii and then utaniambia. Then come give me the feedback. Itakusaidia ama itakusaidia. Ama tujaribie hizi socks zingine mtuambie juu sasa huku kunajua sana. Something of that sort. So I will move to the next slide and then close professionally. As in employ proper conversational closing techniques. You say, and that's I think we see it a lot when you call any form of customer care. Okay, somebody is on me as unmuted. Nerea? Okay. Okay. So you close it professionally and finishing. And sometimes we see even once you finish with the issue, they say, okay, we want your feedback. Was the issue resolved? Especially when you're calling mobile telephony companies. They usually tell you that on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this service? Something to that effect. And that is also a means of measuring. Okay. So now I move on to problem solving as a skill. So with problem solving excellence, we start in steps. And the first one we start with is first, we identify the root cause. Efficiently pinpoint the core problem. Sometimes the problem that is presented is not the issue at hand. And I was consulting for a water company, for instance, at one time. And they were upgrading the meter system to smart water meters. And once one client will complain that my bill has shot up and that the meters are over-registering. But we try to identify, is that the issue of the meter over-registering because the meters are calibrated? And later on, you come to find out that wasn't the core problem. The core issue was there were leaks within the household, as in they had an underground pipe, tank storage, and the underground tank was seeping out water. So every time they will constantly be filling that. So even when they're saying that I fill this tank, and your meter is over-registering, it's because the tank is always continuously being filled, as in it does not stop, and then that's when it supplies to the main of the mains of the house and everywhere else. Approach creatively, devise innovative ways to resolve unique issues. And that's now where the innovation comes in terms of, okay, the problem has come my way, let me not dismiss it first and foremost. Okay. So you start in the aspect of, first and foremost, the customer will always come and they're angry. So you listen to them in the anger. And you can start with the aspect of, hey, I don't know, has anybody else reported something similar to you? From are your neighbors happy about, like in this instance of the meter? I will ask, are your neighbors happy about being able to, because it's a smart meter, see the readings from from their phone? Are they able to see the consistency of every day? They're able to know how much they have consumed. Are you using that service as well? So we brought in the aspect of the meter is not only the issue, but are you able to see how much have you been using daily so that you can monitor, is it equivalent when the meter is saying and what you are using in the house? And then adopt a solution. Sometimes it's important to be flexible when standard methods don't apply. And this is the case, like from the earlier example, where you offered a refund and you also offered another pair of socks. Because now that person might go and say, actually, maybe it's not your socks that is the issue. It was actually my feet that are smelly. So let me go and change things around, or find ways in which I can resolve the issue I have internally. And they can come back and say, I'm happy you did not judge me. Can I buy another pair? And then finally, confirm resolution. Follow through to confirm customer satisfaction. So in everything that we are solving, you find out that at the end point is always get that feedback from the customer. Is the issue resolved? And one of that aspect is with this motor that we install, we now even call up and we say, okay, I've noticed you have not logged into your phone to check your consumption. Can we check it with you? Okay, do you confirm these are accurate? Has your tank now been repaired? Is the reading consistent with what you are utilizing in your house? So those are certain examples of just situations and how you can approach them. Another skill to have is an aspect of time efficiency management. Mhm. So time efficiency generally means, sorry, I was just looking at the time. I'll go through the slide very fast. Balance speed and time. Sometimes we might be selling so fast that we forget to mention certain aspects. We take into account certain aspects when it comes to the quality of the service we're offering. That we wrap through everything, that somebody is not very confident. And sometimes you find for insurance companies, it's something that clients struggle with, because you have sold this policy, but how it was presented was so fast, you didn't read the fine print. Or even when it comes to purchasing certain goods or products. And online purchases are a good example. We focus on the discount. We do not know it's a toy, it's not a full tray. So those are those aspects of, even in our sales, we need to be very clear, because next time somebody will say, hey, me, I can't go to this side. These guys don't, what they promise and what they deliver is very different. So even for us, it's a good thing to balance in terms of, okay, what is the service? Is it just about reaching more people? Or are people actually engaging with whatever content we're putting out, if it's online selling, and how it's helping, and what the prices are? I think they know the proper dimensions. And then set expectations, communicate realistic resolutions, timelines. And some things are as simple as, if you have smelly feet, you have smelly feet. Our socks can't do anything about that. So maybe it's an aspect of looking at a doctor and what they can do with that. However, how we sell it is very, very key, because you can say that's not one of our key products, but now that you're mentioning it, maybe it's something to factor in what type of product that is used to make the socks, so that we look for one that you deserve, or one that is good for your feet specifically. So it's like you're telemaking it to the person. But then another one, follow up proactively. Keep customer. Sometimes it's good to keep customers informed without prompting. Especially one service industry that is very, very good at this is the guys who provide internet in most estates. You always find that they send that text whenever there's an interruption. They send you a text telling you, okay, there'll be downtime of internet between this duration and this duration. We are trying to resolve the issue. We'll let you know immediately that the issue has been resolved. So those are those aspects of things that we can also adopt. And then utilize technology and leverage tools of improved service delivery. And this could be as easy as getting feedback by doing a Google Forms, a very simple form, and you tell people, okay, you just send a link and you just feel how much did you like our service. Sometimes you go to a customer care center. There are people who they take your number when you get the ticket, and they prompt you later, how did you like the service? What can we improve on? And something of that effect. Okay. Okay. Another key thing to have is technical product knowledge. That's more of a knowledge and skill you possess in terms of finding out about the product or service you're offering. I don't know how many people, by a show of hands, have gone to an exhibition, and when somebody comes to your booth, or even unasema nani ndio anajuanga juu hiyo, wacha nimtafute. So every time somebody comes, you are referring them to somebody else when they ask you on an issue of your product. Usually that is somehow, the guy will always tell you, wacha nitarudi basi. Every time they'll tell you, wacha nitarudi. or they come and inquire. So it's a very key. It's a very key thing to know the product or service you're offering end to end, and for everyone. And in certain companies, you find that is the case. Like I was mentioning the other mobile telephony company. If you mention that this product is bad, they tell you, okay, have you tried this? Because what you are telling me, based on the bundles you want to use, this is not for you. This is the package for you. If you tell them that, hey, every time I'm on a call, you guys are disconnecting me, they tell you, have you tried our postpaid service? You are not somebody to use scratch cards. So those are aspects of things that we have to keep cognizant of. So first and foremost, get a deep understanding and mastering of the functionality of your product. Sorry, I'm having an issue here. Just 1 minute. So those are the key things that we have to address in terms of when we are in an organization. Let everybody have a deep understanding of everything that we're offering and how everything is functioning. If it's a software, let them have an understanding of how it is. And then secondly, let everybody be able to explain something very simple without getting into the technicalities. Because sometimes the technicalities, not unless you are a technical person, might be off-putting. The industries you go and it's like, for instance, when it comes to internet, for you, your only concern is maybe how bandwidth, how much Mbps per minute. You don't care about downtime issues. You don't care about the nature of the connectivity. Is like, do you have Wi-Fi? What's the Wi-Fi password? Can I stream movies if it's I want to watch my Netflix? Can I be able to hold a Zoom call or something of that sort? You only ask those key questions. Whether somebody starts telling you, no, this and that and that and the other, those are intricate details that you really don't master. So even for us, we need to think in terms of that. That once we know about a product, let's make it simple. And then continuous learning. Let's always have that aspect of we can always learn some more about a product, a service, or something that we're offering, or we can always upgrade. And also we can also see what others are offering in the market and see if it's something we can also put in. And then finally, yes, connect to needs. That is, you have to see whether whatever product, service, or customer care aspect of troubleshooting you've offered has translated to something tangible to the customer and what rating they're giving you. Case in point, we notice that every time you take either be it Uber, be it Bolt, there's usually a rating. They say, how many stars do you give this person? You see? So that's a quick means of verifying, are you satisfied? And usually, I think for a company like that, they will look for who is getting the lowest rating and what could be the issue. Because you can't consistently get a 0 or a 1 or get comments about your service, and then it's just a coincidence. So those are also aspects to think about within an organization. Do we have certain aspects of easy means we can verify whatever rating we have? Okay. Another thing we rarely think about, but it's very key, going above and beyond. We always remember the people who have serviced us or have provided a service way over and beyond. I remember that there's one time there's this company that sells tires, and what they will do, they will give you a free voucher, and they kept on advertising that free voucher for neighbors. That if you buy these products, we'll give you a free voucher, or if you buy this, we'll even do your service for free, or if you buy these tires, we'll do your alignment for free. So those are those aspects of we're already offering a service that doesn't cost us any product necessarily. Maybe it just costs us a bit more time. But if you can do it, well and good. So that will likely increase our sales for that. Okay. So by that, one key aspect of that is try and anticipate and be proactive in the service before the issue arises. So that when your customer is buying the tires, you tell them, this package is also coming with wheel alignment. So you don't have to worry about it. You're tutakufanyia. Now wheel balancing tutakufanyia. You know? So you don't have to incur an additional cost. Personalize the service. that is just, it's everybody wants to be made to be feel important. It feels very nice when somebody comes and tells me they know, they refer to me by name and they tell me what my interests are. Okay, will this really serve you very well? If you're going to buy like something like a washing machine, I know nothing about washing machine. So the customer, if somebody comes and tells me, do you have a family or don't you? Okay, so which load are you looking at? Okay, so is it a budgetary issue? If budget is not an issue, can I propose this or the other? You know, those personalized touches and services, they make sure that you feel like, okay, when I'm buying a product, I'm buying something that is suitable for me and I can use it. So they really know me very well. These people identify me very well. Make exceptions. This is thoughtfully bend rules when it makes sense. And in certain instances, you find it could be you buy a product or appliance or an equipment, and the offer, somebody says, where are you located? And they say, if it's like Mabati or hardware materials, they say, we usually deliver on that side. How about we put it in our counter? They can deliver it as they're doing the deliveries to the main distributor or to a distributor there. They can drop it your way. So those are like, and then he goes and says, you don't need to pay me for that. Yeah, because that one will do it for you for free. So those are rules that make sense. Don't bend rules that don't make sense. And by these rules, I mean, call all your friends. If you are a bartender, unaambia kila mtu, wechukua shot moja, hawata notice. You know, that doesn't mean the business will remain sustainable. That is for the people who go to bar and studies. Create memories. Take opportunities to deliver something surprising, delightful, or service moments. Like for me, my memory is of the phone call I got on Monday, telling me happy birthday because of our life policy. So it didn't take anything beyond what they can. It just took a 3-minute phone call. And imagine if that happens to somebody who never got a happy birthday wish. They'll feel very treasured, very honored by their client. So I'm moving on now. This is the almost at the last slide, and this is just measuring success. So part and parcel of one thing that we forget is we need to also track the successes that we have, as much as sometimes failures are very blaring, but you need to track the nature of successes because what level of success do we have? Because it's one thing to just say, that sale went good or went well, but what was the experience like? You are unable to quantify. So certain things like tracking the net promoter score improvements, like if you see your rating has gone up generally, like you are getting a 5-star, 4, 6, and you are at a 2-star, those things make sense. And they help you to see, this is how people are gauging our service. On a scale of 1 to 5, they're still gauging us as whatever. We can monitor increased customer retention rates. How many customers still come back after you sold a service or a product because they trust it? How many? Like right now, a good way to track if people like a particular phone is just to see how many people watasema, ukinunua hii simu screen yake inaharibikanga. Mimi ni mtu wa, have you ever heard somebody saying, mimi ni mtu wa Samsung. Mimi hiyo tu ndio simu yangu. Even no matter which good phone comes, the guy will give him the good phone and will go back to the Samsung. Watu wa iPhone tunawajua sana. Hao tunawajua na machaja za iPhone pia tunaitishwangwa kwa ofisi wana regular. Because a guy who uses iPhone hawezi enda kwingine. Android anasema mimi si wa Android. So you find that those people those companies can easily analyze and see, okay, are we still continuing on? Did this same person, if they are registering the Apple account, are they still with us or have they moved? Okay, and then you can observe higher customer lifetime value. If it's stronger through word of mouth referrals. So how many word of mouth do you hear that so and so, when people come in, they tell you, so and so called me, told me you guys have the best. If it's issues of makeup right now, we've established that it's based on experiences of a friend and they'll refer a friend. And if this friend gets a good experience, they go to them. Do we have a system of monitoring how many sales we've made based on those referrals? So now I can move swiftly to the Q&A question. Apologies, I had to rush through those couple of slides, but I hope that the session has been engaging. And now I'm at the Q&A question. In case we have any questions that are still pending, I'm willing to take questions.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for that.
Yes.
So as we prepare for Q&A session, maybe I'll just allow maybe like 2 or 3 minutes because this session was slated to end at 12:15. But thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you, participants. Thank you for joining us. My name is Peter. I'm part of the Accurex fraternity. And mine is to thank everyone so much for joining us today. And again, to remind you that this webinar is brought to you by Accurex. We are a HR consulting company and a training company. We offer a number of services, including HR consulting. That is, if you need to set up a HR department within your organization, we offer that service. We do coaching and mentoring. If you think that part of your team, maybe they need to be sharpened a little bit, that's what, again, we do. We do recruitment. We do payroll management. We do sourcing, as well as team building. If you just want to hype your team, get them up from the office, or even within the office setting, that's something that we're able to do. And again, we are quite proud of our proprietary software, which is HRIS, is a HR management system, end-to-end HR management system. So if you need it, we equally have that with us. So we've been in business for 10 years now, and we are really proud of the milestones that we've made. And thanks to the effort that some of you have been our customers for the longest, and some of you are prospective, and we hope that we can journey that journey together. So on the chat box, we have the feedback form. We'll really want to hear what feedback you have, especially for today's webinar. Just log in to that link, give us feedback. We are issuing even certificates for those who've joined for today's webinar. So if you need a certificate, just fill in that form with the names that you want that certificate to bear. Then we have a WhatsApp community, so just for correspondence purpose, trying to remind you what we have in the pipeline and what else you're doing. So just be keen to join our community, and you can get this communication as and when they happen. So again, just to emphasize on what Kevin has been speaking about, just to remind you that we're equally customers at any given time, and the goalposts between customer experience really changes quite fast, because at one point you are a customer, at another point you're serving a customer. So whatever training and insights that came across, these are quite pertinent because I believe customer experience should be taught as a common unit in any tertiary level education, because it's like recurrent and quite dynamic in its nature. So thank you so much for everyone who has attended, and thank you again for Kevin. I'll give us like only 2 minutes just to respond to any pressing question. If there is, if you have a question, maybe you can just point it out, and Kevin would be kind enough to respond. You can drop that question on the chat box, and then we'll bring this session to an end.
Thank you, Peter.
Kevin, it seems everyone understood, and we are happy for that. Yeah, we have Grace. Go on, Grace.
I'm wondering where the feedback form is. You mentioned the one.
Jane, maybe you can just pin the feedback form so that the participants can access it, right? Do we have a question. Yes, Joyce is asking, do you still issue certificates? The last webinar 2 weeks ago, certificates not yet received. Yes, we still issue certificates. So maybe, I don't know whether on the same WhatsApp number that maybe you got this rich correspondence from, can you maybe just drop your name, and then we're able to pick it up from there. We'll just check from the feedback, because we issue certificates based on the on the certificate form that is filled by participants. So maybe you could have participated, like you are here physically, but you didn't fill the form. Apparently, we are unable to issue certificates if the certificate issuance form wasn't filled. So just be on the lookout to make sure that you fill that form if you're in need of a certificate. Then we have where exactly Jen will drop that, will pin that. Do you yeah. So we have a question for you, Kevin, from
Yes, sir.
Derek. Is
Yes.
studying customer personality important on handling customers?
Okay, it depends. It depends because for instance, if there are certain sales situations where, depending on the product you are selling, especially those ones that have a is it a long sales cycle? You know, there are products where when you go, you have to take your time, and first of all introduce the product if it's a new one, and then see the functionality features, address how the customer is and how they think about it, and then you go back again and tell them, are they interested? So there are those products that, of course, then you have to work also depending on the personality of the person you're with, because they'll show you, this is the things I'm interested in, and this is how I work as a person. And then usually I find that when we are doing business to business, B2B, that's when you have to have those aspects of, okay, who am I dealing with? If it's the CEO, what's the personality type like? So how can I approach them so that I can present it out? However, when you find that the customer is coming to you directly, they're already expressing a need for that aspect of the particular product that you have. So it's just an aspect of finding out what is the challenge that they're facing and what solution do they need. So sometimes I find it's a scenario of, yes, it is good if you can be able to find the personality of a customer and do that. But like you're saying, since you want customer relationships that last, it's not about just the sell, it's about now the long-term aspect of the service in itself. So it will be good to see, okay, so and so when they come here, if it's a barber, this is what they like. They don't like to wait in line. So you can tell them, call me in advance, then I'll put you a slot, and then I'll queue you 5 minutes before time. There are people who don't mind hanging out in the barber shop and have stories. So even him, if he comes, he gets like there's a crowd there, he wants to be chatted. There's somebody who just wants to come, the chef doesn't want to talk to anyone. So I would say, yes, there are situations where now you have to play it by hand. I see Cindy is raising the hand. Cindy.
For me, great session. It was so amazing. I have two questions. I think the first one is right now we are changing into AI. We're seeing a lot of jobs, especially where you have the face-to-face customer experience. So how do we, as the customer experience
Ameenda wapi? Yeye mwenye alikuwa anaongea sijui ameenda wapi.
Unaona nini yangu imehang, mouse yangu imehang. Nikienda click ika click call. Imeingia kwako?
Oui, my network.
Nauliza hiyo call yangu imefika kwako?
Eh.
Kuna watu wawili wakajoin.
Oui.
difference for you so that you also don't overwhelm the customer. So yeah, how do you work on that?
Thank you very much. So I'll start with the issue of AI. Yes. I remember I was working for, or rather consulting for a tech company, and one of their programmers was also consulting for another, and he was telling me they're also integrating AI into counseling sessions. However, this is what I will say from my experience with AI. AI can give you a guideline of a base to start with. And by that I mean, even in customer care where AI is employed, it's on those key tasks of the first questions that you ask will be very simple tasks to do. So if I'm having an issue maybe with my laptop, AI will just ask me, have I made sure maybe the cable is on? Is it switch on? Have I switched the power source on? Some sort of those basic questions. Now, if it's the nitty-gritty, like if it's a software issue, yeah, there's those aspects where AI cannot come in. And even when it's a software issue, how it's explained, there's how AI cannot come in and simplify it. Like you remember when I said a deep knowledge of your product, the way you can simplify something for me is not the same way AI can in terms of the steps. So I still feel like AI can complement what we're doing when it's those then day-to-day tasks of, okay, I'm in a car, it's not starting. If I go and say, what could be the problem? Same way that we use YouTube to try and self-diagnose, or even Google to try and self-diagnose. But you still find that there are those things that you can't resolve. Even when I look at a YouTube video of how to troubleshoot my phone, I can't resolve them there. There are still aspects that I still need to go to someone to be assisted. So for me, when it comes to customer care, we have to see in terms of, yes, it's an industry basis, but how can we address it from that? You let me know if I've answered your question on that. Now, door-to-day sales, called selling, as we call it, that is one of the most difficult things. And I've done it because I worked for a juice selling company at one time. And I used to go to doors to try and convince mothers to tell their children to drink the juice. And one child, akumbe hakuwa amependa sukari, so aliliangalia vibaya, so the whole neighborhood decided not to buy. But what I'm also realizing is this. Because other aspects are being employed, we mentioned earlier, why don't we use tech as a tool? And it could mean also for us trying to integrate ourselves towards those things that we find are working. And if it's social media as a tool, maybe it could mean buying an ad and looking for another alternative. Why? It's because also door to door, it means that the likelihood of certain door gates being opened to you and it hasn't been pre-announced. I'll give an example. If you go to a gated community where you have to announce when you're coming, who you're going to see, and the like. So for me, I would say if you can't be announced or promoted beforehand, I will try and leverage on technology and see how can we leverage on this tech. Another alternative is I see usually people talking to the estate management or even the security guards at the main gate. And when they're having a product, the security guards are more familiar with the people in the neighborhood. So they always say, talk to the quote unquote gatekeepers, talk to the security guys, and they can even tell you, this product, if you go to this and this specific house, this might sell. This one, this house don't go to. Hii hapa utafukuzwa, hata utafunguliwa ngumbwa. So sometimes it's good to also see who are the people who you can talk to within there who look like quote unquote gatekeepers who can assist in the same. Because they're already known. So even when they're going there, taking you to somebody who needs that solution you're offering. So you can start with them and then move on to the next. And even when you're selling to that one person, one sale you make, ask them for a referral if it's possible. I hope I've given us
Thank
something.
you. Thank you, Kevin. Now, I think for Agwins, it's so pressing. So let's just do this last for Agwins, and then we bring this session to an end because our time is really spent.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Quick one.
Yes, sir.
In a board meeting, session meeting, or office meeting.
Yes.
Finance, marketing, everybody seated there.
Yes.
Now you as an HR, maybe from HR background, you are being asked by the CEO.
Yes.
What value will you add to this organization as an HR when it comes to increasing our businesses? What can you tell us? Such a question can come.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the HR perspective, I think for you to look at two things. what are the trends that are happening within the industry you're in, and what is the capacity of your staff to be able to, even if it's producing a service or a product, to be equivalent to what people seem to be levitating towards. So for the HR, in my thinking will be, are your staff at that capacity? Because sometimes we forget that we need to develop, things are changing, things are being upgraded every other time. What new systems have you seen in place? And you're noticing, okay, there's an opportunity here for staff. And then secondly, uh, apart from them learning new skills in terms of what is people are leveraging towards, you as a HR, what staff development plan do you have? Do they get to talk about your product as in excited? Do they smile when they mention your product? Or you say that is a finance guy anakuanga na sura ya ndimu because hataki kuitishwa pesa. But you tell them, okay, even finance, they still meet people out there beyond that. How excited are they about their product? And that will mean now for HR, you have to create that environment where when people come in, they're excited. So that means, how do we do it? We do it based on the engagements. Like if I am to engage you as Aguns, now I'm looking at you in the camera. So I'm smiling at you. I'm saying, this is what we want to do. So can we have even those mock sessions of try to sell me something? I have a pen. Try to sell me this pen. Okay, so that they can understand each other in that sense. And then also have those sessions of the technical, talking to other departments, interdepartmental conversations. Because I find sometimes the challenge is usually how do they get to converse. So now it's having those beautiful sessions within that meeting and saying, before we even start, it's saying what went wrong. Can we have a session where we know we are not enemies? We are we are comrades in this in this quote unquote struggle of making a sale or product. I don't know whether that has given you an insight.
I have an
Okay.
insight. Thank you very much. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Kevin. You
Awesome,
have
awesome,
simplified it.
awesome. Thank you, everyone, for making this session quite an educative one, an eye opener. And thank you for sharing your insights. Thank you for participating. Thank you, Kevin, for a job well done.
Thank
So
you, guys.
long, guys. Have a great day ahead and a week ahead. Let's meet again on Wednesday, same time, same place. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Ndio watu wana left.